and welcome to one more live session with Neetu's Academy. This is Anne with you, and today we are ending a week, like nearly we have reached Thursday, and being a Thursday, we are going forward with a writing precision week, right? So we have got daily different modules, right? So starting with listening, reading, writing and speaking. So Thursdays we normally go forward with our writing, right? And from the previous some sessions we have been discussing the topics for academic and general. And I think the last session we completed with an overview of all the topics connected to academic and general, right? Like because the task 1 and task 2 is common for both the candidates, but task 1 is different when it comes to academic and general. So we have completed an overview of everything. So today I have come up with something connected to task 2. On your screen you can see the topic for today, right? We are dealing with task 2. A question which is very commonly asked when it comes to essays is that what is it that will be asked to write? Now essays is something we must have done during your school days, right? We have done a lot of essays, we have written a lot of essays for our English language. So there we have certain topics as per our age. Now here when we are going for a language test, right? We are going to enter into a country. We are actually the people, the candidates who go for this test, maybe for job reasons or for their study purpose or whatever it is, they are taking this test because they are going to a country wherein English is a native speaking language, right? So we are from a country wherein it is not, we are not native speakers, but we do handle, right? So there is a difference in handling and fluently speaking, right, or daily speaking. So we need to prove that we will be able to handle that language on daily basis when we are speaking to people who have been born and brought up in that language, right? That is the main purpose. So when it comes to a language test, what type of essays are we expected to write, or what are topics which we generally may come in contact with, right? So that is what I am going to take today. A very basic topic. When we get acquainted with IELTS essays, we need to know, right, what is it that we are going to be approached with, right? So it is IELTS common essay writing topics. Some of the common topics, because being essay common for both academic and general, it is quite obvious that you will be surrounded with topics which you are aware of, right? Most of the time maybe it can be connected to society, social, maybe environmental, right? Sometimes very general, right? So it can be either. So let's see today, let's get a brief overview about these things, and then in the end we will take one topic for today. I cannot discuss the samples for every kind of, but we have time in the coming weeks. We will do each topic we will take and discuss a particular type of question connected to that, because every topic has got specific vocabularies which can be repeated, questions connected to that topic. That is the main thing. Because at the end of the day, you have been judged for your language. Whatever your ideas are, yes, definitely you have to brainstorm, you have to put down something, because it's always what to write first and then comes how to write. Like in speaking also, what to speak and then comes how to speak. So you need to know. Definitely, it will be considered, right? In alignment with the question, you have to go, right? But then at the end of the day, it's always the language. So you need to have those rubrics, wherein you have got band for your vocabulary, band for writing proper grammar, right? All these things are taken into consideration. So that will come only with practice. So we need to know what we are going to be coming in contact with, so that we will be able to have an idea. Okay. So here, IELTS common essay writing topics, right? On what are these very common topics on which they generally give you different questions. So topics for essays can vary widely. Right? It can be, like I know, generally it can be something always connected to you. You will be aware of it, right? You will be aware of it, maybe in depth, maybe in a shallow manner. So that is up to you. If you are aware in depth with certain topic, that means you read a lot about it, or you must be practicing a lot. But something which is quite, the knowledge about something which is shallow, therein you have to put more efforts, because in that 40 minutes which you get for essay writing, you have got 40 minutes, right, for your task 2. In that 40 minutes, you cannot take more than 4 to 5 minutes to plan your essay, right? we had discussed one live session wherein I had given you overview about how to plan an essay, right? So 4 to 5 minutes maximum you can assign, you can allocate for planning your essay, right? And then towards the end, around 3 to 4 minutes to proofread your essay. So if you, by chance, if you take 8 to 9 minutes out of your total 40 minutes, still you have around 30-31 minutes. That is the time you should have at least to write an essay. More than that, less than that you cannot afford, right? That will be quite risky, because if you leave your essay incomplete, that means it is going to affect your TA, your task achievement, definitely, right? So that you have to take care of. Okay, so that means you should be, this topics, no, which is given in topics, which I say can vary widely, you should be roughly aware of these, right? And then you should be having a knowledge about various questions connected to it. Okay. So even though they vary widely, some of the most common, like this, you can say most common writing topics are, questions can be based on education, right? That's a very common topic actually, because we all have an idea what education is, what can be some things connected to education, right? Then technology, very common nowadays, something which is a lifeline of every person, right? In any field you are, whatever you do, be it in your personal life or be it in your professional life, technology plays a very, very big role. So we have a knowledge about the things which are happening in this world of technology and what are the developments or what are the changes which are happening, right? New things and all those things we are aware. So questions connected to that, it can be, like I told, environmental problems, right? We are facing, the most common problem is the greenhouse emissions, right? The global warming, the floods which happen very regularly in many places across the world, right? The heavy rainfalls, the humid summers, all these are the deforestations, urbanization, right? Urban planning. So all these are somewhere connected to environment. So maybe questions connected to that. Society, like I told, something which is connected to people, social problems. It can be social problems, right? It can be something connected to the society. Depends on age group also. There are various people in society, right? We have got teenagers, we have got young adults, we have got elderly people, right? We have got couples, a lot of people are there. So there are various things connected to these people also. The changes that are happening in their lives, where the problems they are facing. So maybe something connected to that. Health, a very, very common topic and a very important topic. Something connected to health and food, okay, which is a kind of concern, matter of concern in today's world, especially the younger generation, right? So maybe something connected to that. Medical, the health, the food, all these things are again topics for essay questions. Politics, again. Politics and to an extent crime also, right? Questions related to political scenarios, questions related to the crime scenarios, right? So that is also something. So these are some of the very, very common topics on which you can predict a question based, right? So this is what. Now, so how do you, knowing the topics, okay, you understood now what the topics are. You know, okay, these are the topics on which may get essay questions. So now how do I deal with these topics, right? So how do I know that what kind of questions can be a part of this topic? Because there is not one question, there can be hundreds of them, right? So we have to be aware of different things which are happening in this world. Right? To an extent we have to be, because we need to complete 250-word essay in that 40 minutes to get a good band, right? So what do we do? First thing is familiarize yourself with these topics. We get acquainted with them. Have a knowledge about it. For example, if it's technology, then maybe you are not a person who is so much interested in knowing the things happening in the technical world, right? But then you should be aware of the things which are right now kind of being common in this world, because at the end of the day you have to write an essay. So familiarize yourself with various topics which are quite common, like I told. Then practice writing essays on them. Now this is one word, practice, which is something which you should never forget when you're dealing with IELTS exam. Okay, be it your speaking, be it your writing, be it your listening, or be it your reading. Any of the modules, practice plays a very big role, because this is something which helps you to attain a good band, or maybe your expected band, whatever it is, right? Maybe your good band and expected band would be the same. So that is it. So practice plays a very big role. So you know the topics now, okay? Every day you are reading some of these other thing based on that topic, right? But then there's an ideal structure or ideal method we follow to write this essay. So you need to practice writing those essays, okay? Not only knowing about the questions or topic connected to that is not essential. You need to practice writing these essays. These topics, then you practice writing them, okay? Next, read sample essays. Now, when you practice these essays, this is something which you do on your own, okay? You're taking up a question, right? You take up a question, you read it, and you try to write down a minimum 250 words essay in your own words, right? How do you know whether you have written an essay which is worth a band of 6.5, worth a band of less than 6.5, more than a band of 7 or 6.5, or whatever the band is? Okay, so that was a technical halt. Fine. So we were on, I was telling that you practice by writing essays. So now how do you know what is the band which you may be getting for this essay which you have written? And for that you need to evaluate. So we are there. When you join NEETUs, we definitely have sessions wherein we evaluate your writings, right? Apart from that, if you want to self-evaluate, what do? You read sample essays. Immense number of essays are available on various tutorials, especially take authenticated tutorials, right, like Cambridge or IDP, or a lot of practice essays which have been written down in authenticated tutorials, right. You can take a particular sample of that particular question. You can take samples actually. You won't, if you take internet and put down one question, it is not going to be one sample for that essay. It's immense number of samples are there. So you take any sample which you feel like maybe it can 7.5 above 8 kind of an essay, take it down, right, or above 8 essay, take it down, and then compare your writing with that particular essay. First read that sample essay, right. Now why? Now this can go vice versa also, right. If you read a sample essay first and then you write, now that is blocking your creativity, right, because in we cannot predict what question will come for you in the exam, in the real test, right. So when you read an essay first and then write, somewhere here you can see it's plagiarize. That means you are somewhere copying somebody else's idea without yourself thinking. That is somewhere blocking your creativity. So first what you have to do, you have to write it down in your own words, and then you have to get it evaluated or get it self-evaluated, and for that a sample would definitely help you, right. So you can compare your essay with that sample essay, and then you come to know that where are your lackings, right. Maybe you will get a lot of vocabularies which you have been not able to put down, that is something like that, or maybe you can make a change in your structure, okay. Maybe the comprehension of the question by you has been something different, right. So that all changes can be done after reading the sample essay. Never by heart any essay, because that is going to be negative for you, right. Never by heart anything. You can take ideas and convert those ideas into your own words. That is what is expected when you practice, right. That means, so like I told, analyze. Once you get a sample essay, analyze how they are structured. What is the structure, format, and then how the ideas are presented. You yourself have some ideas, right? Maybe your ideas and that ideas will collide with each other. The language may differ, but ideas may collide. So definitely you can check those ideas, check that structure, check the language, check the grammar, how accurately they have used all these things, and that will definitely help you to evaluate yourself. That is the way how you practice, right? Not only knowing about the topics is not the best thing in the world. You need to get a knowledge about the topics, you get questions connected to it, you practice writing them, and you get it evaluated, or you self evaluate, however is it, right? So this is the method you should follow to get an expected dream band of yours and a band above 7 for 7 or above for writing in your essay, right? Essay, fine. So that is what I wanted to say. So like we told, we had some topics here: education, technology, environment. There are various other topics. So I have taken for the beginning, for some sessions, let me deal with them first, the very common of them, then we will go to some other topics definitely. Okay. So what we will do is, today I cannot deal with all the topics in one day, that would be very rapid and quick, so that is not expected also. I will take one topic each day. So let's go with education today. Like I told, one of the common topics on which different questions come. So we are taking this particular topic today. Let's deal with one essay connected to this topic. There are immense number of essays connected to this topic, but then I am taking one because I have a time constraint, right? So today let me take one, then we have sessions. If there are no hurdles and obstacles, we will deal with various topics, right? Various questions. Okay. So now connected to education, I have taken down this question, right? If you have been practicing IELTS writing from quite some time, then you must have come across this question. Okay, this was a question which was there in some in the Cambridge, one of the books, right? So you must have come across this, and this is something which we are all aware of. This topic, not only this topic, the question connected to this topic, we are all aware of. So let's see what it is. The question statement says, in some countries. Now let me just tell you one thing. Here I am not dealing with essay types. Okay, that we will do. We have already got an overview of that. Here I am actually dealing with topics, right? So I am not actually dealing with the essay type. What type of essay is that? It's an agree, disagree essay. It's advantage, disadvantage, a positive. That is not what I am dealing with. I am dealing with mainly the question topic, so that you get an idea about what can be written down if such a question comes to you, and what are some possible vocabularies, okay, or the grammar structure which you can use when such a question is in front of you. That is the main thing. It is not the essay type we are dealing with today, right? Okay, but then we are getting acquainted with essay type also, because after the question followed by the statement, definitely then essay question is there. Okay, so in some countries the government fully funds all university courses, right? That is one statement, that in some countries the government, the ruling authorities, they completely fund, they give the 100% funding for all university courses, while in others, that is again now going to be something opposite, contradictory. While in others, students have to pay for their own education. So there are two scenarios, okay, one wherein the government is funding the education of the pupils completely. I mean, it's, if the charge is 100 rupees, the whole 100 rupees is paid by the government, right? However, there are situations or countries wherein government doesn't do, the students have to pay. Maybe they are paying the complete fees, the whole 100 rupees, or maybe partial, right? So in that case, complete funding of the education is not taken up by the authorities, that the students have to handle, complete or partial, however it is. So these are two scenarios they have presented connected to education, right? Now what is the question? Essay question. This is what the statement is, followed by statement comes a question. The question is, discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each approach. So we have been given two situations. What you have to do is, you have to state the benefits and the drawbacks, that means the advantages and drawbacks of this particular approach, and there is a conjunction, right, and give your own opinion, give your opinion, that is an additional thing, right. Now if this part and give your opinion, is not a part of this essay, if the essay question, then this becomes a advantageous, a simple advantageous disadvantageous essay, wherein you present the benefits and the demerits of these two approach, right. But then they have added something, you discuss the benefits and the drawbacks, you plus give us what is your opinion on this particular scenario. So, this is the essay type. Like I always say, essays can be modified, right. If the topics can vary, the types also can vary. If you deal with a particular kind of essay which falls under the category of no opinion, they can definitely make it into opinion essay by just adding this much, give your opinion. The moment that is added, it becomes an opinion essay. So, you must be aware of different kinds of topics and questions when you practice, right. So, this is the question, this is the essay type, this is a question, right. Now, coming to a sample. Now, before going to the sample, let us just see, like in this scenario there are two approaches. One where the government is funding all the people, all the students, the whole fees of the course, and in scenarios wherein the government is not taking the complete charge. Maybe the student has to bear the whole charges, or maybe sometimes the government may bear a nominal amount, right. That can be the scenario. So, they have asked you to give the benefits, right, of this scenarios and also the drawbacks or the demerits, right, fine. So, what can be the benefits, right, when you get a question in front of you? The first thing is you plan your essay. So, now first what you are going to write in your paragraphs, you have got 4 paragraphs wherein you write your introduction, your BP1, BP2 and your conclusion. In your body para 1 and your body para 2, you are going to write the benefits and the drawbacks. So, before going to the actual writing, you, like I always tell, you take 4 to 5 minutes and plan your essay. In that 4 to 5 minutes, you write down roughly, okay, I am going to write this advantage, I am going to write this is a disadvantage, right. So, what can be the major advantage if the government is taking the whole authority of bearing the funds of a particular student or an XYZ student, if taken down, that means the government is giving the opportunity for that particular student to have the desired course. Now, if this XYZ student wants to go for a course, but he or she has a financial constraint. At the same time, in the same situation, there is another person who has got full financial freedom, he or she is choosing whatever course they want. So, that is that gap is bridged when the government is telling, okay, for that person who cannot bear the charges, we are giving an opportunity to study whatever they want. So, somewhere there is an equality, right. Just because of financial constraints or barriers, a person is not losing up an opportunity to learn something which they are capable of. So, that can be an advantage, definitely, right. If I am not able to fund myself for a particular course, and if the authorities are helping me, that is my dream is being achieved with that particular support, right. So, a person who can do just because they have got the money, and a person who cannot do because of the money, that gap is being bridged there. So, that is one major advantage, right. So, that is an advantage there. So, it has one drawback also, right. So, we can see about that when we discuss the sample, that is something. So, that is an advantage, disadvantage essay where we deal. So, let us see how this essay has been written, because our main aim is to understand a few ideas here and there, plus getting some vocabulary connected to this particular topic which can be repeated in any kind of question which is based on this topic. Okay. So, let us see. Now, it starts with the sample answer starts with first part, which is an introduction paragraph, which is a very important paragraph when it comes to an essay. And in introduction, what we do is we paraphrase the question statement. So, we have a question statement from here till here, right. We need to paraphrase that. We cannot copy the same thing as it is. We need to bring some synonyms or change words or sentences, however it is, and we need to write it down, right. And then we need to put down a overview. Because it is an opinion essay, we can write down an overview stating our opinion, right. So, let us see. They have given in some countries. So, the paraphrase is in numerous countries, right. You can write numerous or you can write few also, because they have given some. Some means we cannot say it is more or less. Some are there. So, it is more or less, we do not know. So, either you write in few countries or you write in numerous countries or maybe in some parts of the world. Either ways you can write. What is happening? In some numerous countries around the globe, that means on international level, on a global stage, It is not a particular part of the world, it is a whole globe. So, around the globe there are contrasting. Now, contrasting is actually telling you that it is opposite, and this approach is opposite, isn't it? One situation government is funding the whole amount, and one situation the government is not. So, it is both opposite, it is contrast. That is why that word suits. There are contrasting methods of financing higher education, right. In some nations, so that is that first sentence, right. In some nations, the government bears a full financial burden of university courses. So, in some places we are taking countries around the world. So, in some nations, now here you can see countries word has been used, right. Here you can see nations have been used, which is synonymous, right. Repetition has not happened, both are the same, but then synonymously used in that, in the gap of one line. So, that is another way of paraphrasing. So, you should know all these methods. If you have to repeat a word countries in your essay, so there should be some synonyms which you should have, because these are common words, especially when this topic. Yes. So, in some nations the government bears the full financial burden of university courses, right, while in others students are required to fund their own education. So, it is contradictory. One government is funding, when the government is not funding, students have to fund their own education. So, that is your paraphrase. This is what the question statement was all about, right, which you have paraphrased and written. The meaning has not changed, only the synonymously words have been used. So, it is not sounding the same, sounding different, but the meaning is the same, right. Okay. So, next part. Now, this essay we are going to write the advantages and disadvantages, and in the end we have to give your opinion also. So, the outline is this essay will delve into the advantages. Now, generally when it is a no opinion essay, what we do is that we write a paraphrase and put down the overview statement or the outline statement. We do not give an thesis there, right. Here the essay will delve into the advantages and disadvantages of each approach, right, and provide a personal opinion on the matter. Now, whatever is the opinion, if you want you can write, but this is a discuss and give your opinion essay. Now, discuss and give your opinion essay, you have got a choice wherein you can put down your opinion after discussing. You discuss the matter first and then you give your opinion, right. This is a discuss and give your opinion essay. So, the essay will delve into the advantages and disadvantages of each approach, or you can write merits and demerits if you want to paraphrase, of each approach, and provide a personal opinion on that matter. So, that completes your introduction. Yeah. So, that is your introduction. Fine. Now, going forward, now we have to discuss the first approach advantages and disadvantages, second approach advantages and disadvantages, and then in the end we have to say according to us which do we favor, not favoring actually, what do we think is a better one, right. Fine. First para will be definitely about the first approach, wherein the government is funding the education for the students. A significant advantage. Now, significant is something which is a prominent, a substantial and important, right. This word is very common when it comes to writing. This word is generally used in most all the essays. So, you should have the synonyms for that, right. A significant benefit or advantage of government funded education is that it fosters an egalitarian society. Now, here there are two words, one is egalitarian society and one is fosters. So, I have prepared a glossary out of the about some of the vocabularies which we have used in this essay. First one, egalitarian approach. What is it? Or egalitarian society. What does it mean? A society where people are treated with equality, wherein the principle of equality is being followed. That is called as an egalitarian approach or egalitarian society, right. So, the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities. Like I told, a person who has got money has got the choice to take up whatever course they want. At the same time, if a person who does not have that financial support, then they are actually losing up on opportunity. So, if the government is funding them, that equality comes into picture. So, both are getting the opportunity, right. So, that is called as an egalitarian approach or an egalitarian society. So, you can use that word when you are telling about something connected to equality amongst the people, especially in the topic of education, right. We told fostering. Fostering that kind of approach means fostering is kind of motivating or encouraging, right. So, either you can say something which stimulates or develops, increases or promotes, motivates or encourage. There are synonyms for that. So, that is what we have done. So, it fosters what? A society wherein there is equality, right, allowing individuals from diverse socio-economic backgrounds to access higher education. So, people who are coming from different social and economic backgrounds, people coming from maybe rich families, people who are coming from not that rich families, right. So, there is a social economic backgrounds, socio-economic backgrounds to access higher education. So, there is no blockage for them, okay, if they want to go for a higher studies. That is how the government, if the government is funding, it is an advantage, right. Then that is the first thing, advantage. By reducing financial barriers, the government enables a wider pool of talent to contribute to the workforce. You can see fostering has been repeated here. This is fosters, this is ing fostering, okay. Yeah. So, if the government is actually by reducing these financial barriers, the government enables a wider pool, wider exposure of talent to contribute to the workforce. A person who is capable enough to study something, if there is a blockage because of finance, that means also a good human a good worker is being stopped from getting into that work pool. His or her talent or ability can be utilized by the companies once they clear out after their higher education. So, that is also problem is also solved. They are able to get into that world of jobs, right. So, innovation, fostering, contribute to workforce, fostering, that means again encouraging innovation and economic growth, right. So, that will also help the society getting innovated, right. Innovated means where there are changes or developments which are happening. So, the meaning of the word innovation is wherein you bring a new change, right. You bring some change there, development there or transformation or some alteration. So, that is happening with the help of, so we are if the government is supporting them in getting their higher studies with the help of some finance given to them, that means the government is also bringing up innovation in the in the what do you call, in the world of jobs, right, in the commercial world. However, so that is one advantage, right, it brings equality. Secondly, it gives an exposure to people to come into the work in the talent world, right. However, a notable downside, so this is a disadvantage. If the government does, then there is a disadvantage to that. So, we are discussing advantages and disadvantages both. So, the notable downside of this approach is what? That it may lead to oversupply of graduates in certain fields such as humanities. That is an example, that is an instance. So, maybe if the government is funding every person, what will happen? Everybody, if a particular group of people, majority of people are choosing one because they have the freedom of getting financed, what they will choose the best, either they will choose something which is they may get a lucrative job in that, right. So, everybody is thinking in that way, right. Everybody wants to have better standard of life and good earning, right. So, everybody will go into that first particular track which they find, right. So, maybe in a particular field we will have lot of people who are graduating at one time. So, then that will create a problem for jobs, right. So, then they have given example, for instance humanities, causing mismatch between labor market demands and the available workforce. So, what will happen? The jobs will be less and the people who are seeking that jobs will be more. So, there is a difference in that ratio, okay, wide difference in that ratio. That can be a disadvantage if the government is funding everybody and everybody is looking for particular sector wherein they want to earn money, okay. So, that is what the first advantage, and disadvantage is if the government is funding the higher education. Let us go to the second part of it, wherein the students are taking up their own education, right. So, the linking word used here is conversely. You can see here they have written conversely. Conversely means vice versa or reciprocal way, right, in a contrast manner. A system where students finance their own education might encourage them to meticulously evaluate their career options, selecting majors with favorable job prospects. So now if second part is wherein government is not funding, students are funding their own education. So in that case what will happen is that it would encourage them. Now meticulously is a word which is used there, right. We can see here meticulously means very carefully or thoroughly, right. So it will give an opportunity, and we have written conversely we already discussed reciprocally or vice versa, right. So meticulously means if a student is financing himself or herself, then they have the opportunity to actually evaluate their career options. There is no force, nobody is forcing them that okay fine we are funding you, so you take this kind of course only. Here I am funding myself, so I can carefully study my career options and then select a major which may help me to get a better job or a lucrative job. So that is with favorable job prospects. Okay. This approach can result in a more efficient allocation of resources within the education sector, as well as a better alignment between the needs of the economy and skills of the workforce. So in this way what happens, I can study okay in this field there are very less people who are going, and it has got good salary also. So let me take up a course in this. So I can study that, I can understand that, and I can take up. So what will happen when I come out as a graduate or a postgraduate, the job is ready for me and I have kind of balanced. The country needs people in human resource and there is a lack of people in human resource because people are not taking up the courses. So I have taken up, so I am balancing that need, right, that the economy and the skills of the work. I have got the skill and economy needs me, so that means it's balanced. So that is what the advantage is. Nevertheless, that's a linker they have used. Even though, nevertheless is a linker which is used, even though this is a thing, there's something which is improper about that. Nevertheless, such a system risk exacerbating social inequality. In the beginning we have discussed that if the government is funding, it bridges the gap and makes it equal. Now here it says it says a word called exacerbating. Exacerbate means heighten or aggravate. That means something which becomes moves to a bad condition, worsen, right. So here what happens, if students are choosing their own careers, they are funding their own education, then it promotes social inequality, right, as only those with the financial means can pursue higher education, leaving underprivileged individuals at a disadvantage, right. So that is a disadvantage which I already told, that it actually brings out socio-economic inequality in the society. So that's why that is a disadvantage. So that we have discussed the advantages and disadvantage. Now we have to give our opinion. So that's our conclusion, right. In my view, an optimal solution, right, would be an hybrid approach, right. A valuable solution is that we go for a hybrid approach. Hybrid approach, we have taken down that word from in the glossary that you can see here. It's hybrid. One second. Approach is wherein you go for a mixed or a combined method, right. You take a combination of both, like we say hybrid cultivation, right. So that means a hybrid approach that combines the benefits of both the systems. Both have got advantages and disadvantages, but we will take the advantages of both. Government should provide need-based financial assistance, right, such as grants or low interest loans. So what they can do, that they can, instead of completely funding their education, what they can do is they can give financial assistance, like they can give low interest loans to ensure the students from low income backgrounds have equal opportunities to access higher education. Simultaneously, those who can afford it should be encouraged to do it, finance their education, right. So in my opinion, the government should actually support the people who have lack of financial assistance by granting them loans or by providing some means of financial assistance. At the same time, what we can do, the people who are funding their own education, let them fund it. Don't give them, if they can fund it, let them fund themselves. Don't give them the opportunity to fund their education, right? That means that will burden the government also to an extent, right? So that is called the hybrid approach which they have. That is my opinion. Okay, fine. So this is mainly what I wanted to do was that I wanted to let you know about the ideas connected to it and some vocabularies, more than letting you know about the type of essay, right? That was the main thing which I was aiming at. So I hope that that is achieved, right? So this is one question on education topic. We have got various. We will connect with them in the next sessions, in the coming sessions, right? So I think you had a beneficial session today wherein you were able to deal with this one topic. It's a very common topic. Please do take up questions and practice on daily basis. Okay. So this is where I end today. Let's connect next week with another question connected to maybe another topic which is very common, right? Till then, you all keep practicing with your writing module, reading module, listening module as well as speaking module. We are there to anyways give you a helping hand, right? Hope that you all have a nice day and you keep yourself safe. With that note, I end the session. Goodbye.